years old drinking something literally to death. So that was just, I never remember my dad ever coming home from work when he did work, and that it didn't get totally wasted. Then my mom can't let him join us, so she began drinking, and she became an alcoholic as well. I had an older sister, a younger brother, and it was just terribly abusive, terribly dysfunctional. In spite of all of that, they were conservative. So they did teach us the difference between right and wrong, and in fact, in 1973, when Roe versus Wade happened, I actually had to write a persuasive paper in high school. I was a junior in high school, so I'm 63 years old. So I just wanted to do the math for you so you can try to figure it out how old I am. So as a junior, I actually wrote this paper supporting the life issue. It was against abortion. The next year, as a senior in high school, I graduated from high school, I crossed the Mississippi River into the state of Illinois, and I began my college education at Southern Illinois University at Evansville. And it only took one short year for me to become a radical feminist. So I left anything and everything that my parents never taught me, and I just embraced that culture. So I bought the lies, the typical lies, that, oh my goodness, all these poor people who can't afford to have children need to have abortion for those people. And yet God has allowed me to travel all across the United States, out of the country, and I have yet to meet the abortionist who gives them away for free. It is a tremendous money-making business. I bought the lie that every woman has a right to her own body, even though we know now, all these years later, that's a completely different human being. Then, of course, there was the lie that all these people who are abusing and neglecting their children, we certainly needed to have abortion for that, to prevent that. And years after 1973 happened, Dr. James Dawson did a study. And he actually found out that since abortion has become legal in the United States, child abuse and child neglect has increased 500%. So abortion is not the answer for child abuse and child neglect. But I just bought that lie. So I was studying to be a nurse, so I was 2.5 years into nursing school when I actually met my husband, Mike. We dated, we got married, and shortly after we got married, I found out I was pregnant with grandfather's daughter, Shannon. So we got married. In just a few minutes, I'll kind of get into our marital situation, but we got married for all the wrong reasons. It had all to do with we were in lust. We didn't have any idea what love was. He had been married before. We had all of his debt. We had our debt. So we were thousands of dollars in debt. So here I was in school, and I hadn't yet graduated. And so we made this decision. And I would actually quit college, and I'd get a job and just get out of debt a little bit. And then I'd return to my education, graduate with my nursing degree. So here I was pregnant. I ended the pregnancy, and I had her, delivered her. Shortly after I delivered Shannon, I needed to go to work. So at that time, we lived in an apartment complex. My husband was a police officer in Granite City, Illinois. Do we have any policemen with us tonight? No? No. Oh, hi. Oh, couple. I love the police department. I really do. So now I was my husband a policeman, my son is a policeman, my son-in-law was a policeman, my brother's a policeman. Love the police department. But he was a cop, like a cop. Okay, so here we are married, I mean, like the cop, variety of police officers. He was a policeman, so here we are, thousands of dollars in debt. I'm going to go ahead and quit school, and a friend of mine who lived downstairs in this apartment complex in Overwarren, she was my really good friend. She worked at the local abortion clinic in Granite City. The name of this abortion clinic is the Hope Clinic for Women. But I'm here to tell you that they offer no hope. At this particular time, the Hope Clinic was a large rectangular-shaped building, and it was divided right down the middle. You could enter this building on each corner of the building. So if you entered on this side, you would see your OBGYN, and if you entered on this side, then you would have an abortion. She worked on the OBGYN side, and she came to me and she knew I was looking for employment, and she said, Kathy, we're hiring a medical assistant at the abortion side of the clinic. Is that something you'd be interested in applying for? They pay great money. Benefits are awesome. Well, I was completely I was very interested, and so I went down and I interviewed. And in fact, they took me through 2 very extensive interviews. They wanted to make sure I was really pro-choice, and I really was. So they hired me. Even though, obviously at that time, I was not a Christian, God had his hand on my life. Because although I was hired to assist the doctors during the procedure, they trained me in every single area of the abortion clinic. So I'll just take you through the inside look. The first thing that I was trained to do was answer the telephones and make an appointment. And you wouldn't think that was a big deal, but it was a big deal. We were trained to listen to the patient on the end of the phone, and if she sounded upset or nervous, then we would squeeze her in for that particular day. Now, this time when I worked there, they were only licensed to do first trimester abortion procedures. Now they do them, and they were growing even then. Now they're doing them through the 24th week, all the way up to 24 weeks in Granite City, Illinois. It's their boast. They're the only abortion clinic within a 10-state radius that does them through 24 weeks. But at that time, they were only licensed to do first trimester abortion procedures. Well, what we would do is we were trained to listen if they were upset. We did a minimum of 40 during the week with 60 on a Saturday, 6 days a week. They were closed on Sunday. If she was upset, we worked during that day, and we would squeeze in up to 10 extra abortions every day. We didn't want one of 3 things to happen. First, we didn't want her to change her mind and not get the abortion. Second, we didn't want her parents finding out, thus changing her mind for her. And last but not least, we didn't want her to cross the Mississippi River and go into St. Louis and get an abortion at one of the then 4 abortion clinics. So we would say, Jennifer, it sounds like you're very upset about this pregnancy. Oh my gosh, yes, whatever it was, she'd tell us why she was upset. Do you have the money? As long as she had the money, we would work her in that particular day. Now we would schedule, if we were doing 40 that day, we would schedule half of them to come in at 7 in the morning. The other half we would schedule to come in at noon. And the reason we did that is because they had, even back in those days, sidewalk counselors. So we thought, well, if we had 20 women arriving at the same time, they'd be less likely to be approached by the sidewalk counselors. Okay, so they'd all come in about the same time. Well, that'd be okay, I guess, if you were one of the first to be seen at 7:30. But can you imagine arriving at the clinic at 7 and not having your procedure done until noon? But that's how we did it, and we would schedule them. Once they would arrive at the clinic, they would enter, they'd sign in, then we would have them sign the release form. This release form was on a regular sheet of typed paper. The words were very long, very small. And basically, we would look at her and say, Jennifer, you'll just have to sign this. This is our release form to allow us to do your procedure. They never read them. They just signed them. And that release form is a very important document because prior to me getting involved in this very abortion clinic, there was a young woman by the name of Barbara Lee Davis. She was 19 years old. She was 8 weeks pregnant, came to the Hope Clinic for her safe, legal abortion procedure. So they did her procedure, a first trimester abortion surgical procedure, only takes 5 to 8 minutes. They did her abortion, she began bleeding, that's normal. They put her in the recovery room, where they gave her cookies and her 7-Up, and she was a little bit nauseated, that's pretty normal. She was tired, that's normal. So she went home and she decided she'd take a nap, that's normal. And then she bled to death. That's not normal. The doctor had perforated her uterus, and her parents, not even aware that she was pregnant, sued the abortion clinic, and it was determined in a court of law she had signed that release form, and there are possible dangers and risks involved in all medical procedures. So unfortunately, not only did her parents not have their daughter, didn't have their grandchild as well. So that document is very important when they sign that document. After that sign, they did do blood work. And then they would sit down and they would await their turn for counseling. Now, I believe that counseling is the most important part of this abortion clinic. The reason I say that is because later, years later, I found out that 99 out of every 100 women would go ahead and abort after counseling. These women would boast they're highly educated, they have at least a master's degree. They sit down with the client and they begin asking them a lot of open-ended questions. And they just listen. And all you have to do is listen to someone in a crisis, and they'll keep coming back to what's driving them to want to abort. So if it's money, they'll talk about money. If it's the fear of telling their parents, whatever it is, they'll keep coming back to that. What these professional women would do is they'd listen to the pressure point, and then they'd go in and magnify it. One particular counseling session I got to sit in on, money was the issue. And so I remember this counselor telling this young woman, oh, you're making the right decision. It's so expensive having children. And in fact, did you know that baby shoes are $26 at Buster Brown? It used to be a little baby shoe store in the mall. And so she just, sure enough, went right in and had her abortion. So counseling is very important. Once counseling's finished, they wait their turn for the procedure room. This particular time, there were 2 procedure rooms that were side by side. There was a medical assistant in each procedure room, and then there was a cleanup room, which was off to the side. In that cleanup room, there was a large sterilizer where they would sterilize the trays, and there was also a big double sink where they would wash the trays after the procedure was finished and prepare them to go into the sterilizer. But there was also a toilet bowl that was actually mounted to the concrete wall. It was just mounted to the wall. It didn't have a lid, but it just continually flushed. Because there were abortions that were done too far along for them every single day. That could be 14, 15, 16 weeks. Whereas when the procedure would be finished, they put the baby in the jar of formaldehyde, they'd get in trouble. They'd get in trouble because they were doing them illegally for them. So what they would do with those abortions that were too far along is they put them into that flushing toilet right into the sewers of Granite City. And that happened every single day. The procedure room side by side having a medical assistant. In the recovery room, 1 registered nurse in the entire clinic. Everybody else was basically, like me, medical assistant. Like I said, 5 to 8 minutes for a first trimester abortion procedure. There were 3 doctors that worked in the clinic. And there would be 1 doctor that would be doing procedures, abortion procedures. 2 doctors would be on the OBGYN side, seeing their patients. And then every hour they would rotate. So we had 5 to 8 minutes while the doctor was in the other procedure room to get our client, after her procedure was done, off the table into recovery. We'd go back in the room, pull the paper down on the table, take the tray into the cleanup room, get another tray, put the tray over there, put up the paper, put the baby down on the cotton, get our next patient, get her on the table, do her blood pressure for vital signs for temp, put it in her chart, and wait for the doctor to come in. 5 to 8 minutes, and if you were not ready when the doctor came back in, then you would get written up, and that would be put in your professional employee file. Because you're slowing them down. So it's a very, very quick procedure. So this is happening day in and day out. Let me tell you, there are 3 types of abortion clinic workers. And there are some perks at working at an abortion clinic. Let me just share those with you. First, free birth control. You have free birth control. Anything you want. They write up prescription drugs. You get drugs, they write out prescriptions for you. Also, you got free abortions. One lady I worked with had 8. Sure. Why have to worry about it? Free abortions. So that was a perk. These women, the first type of woman that would work there, they harden their heart. You know, you have to deal with that type of day in and day out sin in some way. So many of them do drugs, are heavily involved in alcohol. And one time I was invited to a party, went to a party, and it was a crazy party. And I'm really thankful because in my growing up years, my mother had taken me to one of those AA meetings for kids. And I just remember that lady standing up in front saying that alcoholism was hereditary. So, you know, that you were predisposed to become an alcoholic. And that scared me. Because then my mom became an alcoholic, and so I thought if I drank, it was very wrong, misunderstanding, but I'm thankful God used that misunderstanding. Because I was very much afraid of alcohol. I thought for sure if I drank, I was going to become like my mom and my dad. So I just avoided it. And drugs the same way. I just didn't want anything to control me, so that frightened me, so I stayed away from it. But many of the workers at that clinic were heavily involved in alcohol and drug use. So there's that girl. The second girl was my friend Jenny, where things are just going wrong in her life. You know, her life seemed to be falling apart. Her kids were in rebellion. Her husband's business was closing. They were having marital problems. And you know, the Bible said that God causes it to rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. So we just know God's biblical principles are true, whether you're serving Him or not. And so she just quit the clinic. Then you have the third type of abortion clinic worker who has a very real encounter with the Lord Jesus Christ. And that would be me. So we're going to switch things up, and I'm going to share the best part of what happened out of this horrible mess of the story. So let me go back and talk a little bit about marriage. So I told you I was married to a policeman, and I'm going to be very honest with you tonight because, after all, he's not here to defend himself. So, you know, I'm going to be real. So, you know, Mike, we got married for the wrong reasons. We're fighting all the time. Growing up in an alcoholic family, I learned to be a survivor. Okay, so if anybody's grown up in alcoholism, you just survive. You find out what works for you and you do it. So getting good grades, I'm not a naturally smart person at all, but I'm a hard worker. I worked really, really hard, and that was my affirmation. But I was strong-willed. Like, I didn't want anybody to control me because I felt my whole growing up years, I had no control. So Mike was brought up in a particular type of religion where the man saves the woman, so they're highly domineering. So you can imagine when we got married what a marriage looked like. So I didn't want anybody to control me. Mike was all about control. And so it was going nowhere quick. So we were fighting all the time. And in fact, we lived upstairs, directly upstairs from this little old lady. Her name was B. Unk, and she owned the local liquor store in Granite City. And so when I look back and think she was this little old lady, I was 22 years old, 23 years old, she was probably my age now. And I realized how young 63 is. So young. I thought she was really old. So she was, you know, living by herself, a single lady, and when we would have these huge fights, she had a broom, and she would beat the ceiling. Boom, 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 boom. And we'd hear it. And if we didn't stop fighting, then she would call the police. And let me tell you how embarrassing it is when the police are called on the police. It's called a family disturbance. You know what I'm talking about. Humiliating. Well, this was happening all day, all the time. Every day we're fighting. It was just terrible. I'm going working at the abortion clinic day in and day out. That's affecting me even though I didn't really realize it was. Finally, Mike decided we need to get a divorce. Now, realize there are a lot of other things going on at this time. My father passed away. All of my friends graduated from college, and I was still a year out, working at this abortion clinic, thousands of dollars in debt, fighting all the time. I was living in Granite City. Anybody been in Granite City? If you were, you'd understand what I'm talking about. You know what? Now it's home 40 years later, but it's very different from what I was brought up in. So things were just bad. So Mike, he decided I would actually file for this uncontested variety of divorce because he didn't want to look like the bad guy. And so I actually filed for an uncontested divorce. So we had one lawyer between the two of us. We didn't own anything. We owed everybody everything. I would get the baby, I had my car, he had his, and it was going to be over. So we're talking, here we are, July the 28th of this particular year, 1978. And I just had this great plan. I'm going to go over to my mom's that night. Mike worked midnights, 9 at night to 5 in the morning. And so I'm going to actually ask my mom. She was very affluent, had a beautiful, beautiful home. And I was going to ask her if after the divorce the next day, I could take her only grandchild, move back into the house. They had a finished basement, beautiful. And I would just, move in there, go back to school in the fall, finish my degree, and I'd be able to better provide for my daughter. Sound like a good plan? I thought it was a marvelous plan. So I lay it all out to my mom. She's admiring, and I'm telling her this plan. She stops, she looks at me, and she says, nope. I'm just like, no? And she said, no, you know what, Kathy? She said, you made your bed. Now you're going to have to sleep in it. And I'm like, whoa. I was really upset. So I was sleeping on that chair, put her back in the car seat, drove down Highway 270, and I was sobbing. I just had come all the way to the end of myself. So I got home that night. Mike was already working, and I just decided that night that I was going to take my own life. I was all the way to the end of myself. You know, it's amazing because not one second did I think of eternity. You know, like if I succeeded in this plan, that I would send myself to hell. You know, people who are suicidal don't really think about that. They just know they can't live like that anymore. So I gave Shannon her last bottle and made sure she was in a sound sleep. I took my self-duty revolver, I used to keep it on top of the refrigerator, and I took it and I sat in our little vinyl recliner, put the ottoman up, and I was sobbing and sobbing. And I put the gun up to my head, and then I pulled the trigger. And the first miracle that happened that night is the gun wouldn't go off. It wouldn't fire. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even kill myself. I mean, complete failure. I put the gun down and I'm just sobbing and I decided I'm gonna call Mike's mom. Now let me tell you about Mike's mom. She became a Christian, like a radical Christian, 7 years prior to this. Now, what I thought about Jackie, I thought she was a little radical. You know, she's like the woman that has, I'm not kidding when I say no less than 15 pictures of Jesus Christ all over her house. Happy Jesus, sad Jesus, Jesus on the cross, Jesus off the cross, bumper stickers, I'm not even kidding. She has a cross necklace, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not this big. You know, the co-pilot thing on that bumper, oh, she had it all. I thought she was a little bit over the top, but she was always kind to me, always nice to me. So I reached out to her, called her on the phone, I'm sobbing, I told her I just tried to kill myself, the gun wasn't going off. Here's how you talk to an irrational woman. Kathy, put the gun away. Get the baby and come over here. So I did, okay, great. I got off the phone, put the gun back on top of the refrigerator, got Shannon up out of bed, went downstairs. Now we lived 3 very short blocks from Mike's childhood home, which is where Jackie lived. Get her in the car seat, we're on our way over. How many people here believe there's a devil? Can I see your hands? Yes, okay, now, the Bible says that Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He does not know the future, and he did not like the way things were shaping up. Because on my way over to Jackie's house, this huge semi-truck ran my car off the road, up and over a curb, and into a light post. And he just kept driving. And there I sat, thinking, oh my gosh, I could have been killed. No kidding. Well, the car had a big old dent in the side of it, but it was drivable. Pulled the car back up on the road, drove over to Jackie's, pulled up, got out of the car. She took the baby into the house. Well, my sister was visiting from Texas, so there was, family in the house. And she sat down on her front porch, hot, muggy, Satanless evening, and she began to share with me what it was to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. She said, you know what, Kathy, this is not about religion, it's about relationship. And she said, here you are trying to kill yourself, trying to take your own life. Why not give the Lord an opportunity to live his life through you? And she talked to me about the birth of Christ and what he did for us, and the whole idea of being a sinner. Oh, I got that one down, check. But really, I realized when she was explaining it to me that I did believe in Christmas, and the virgin birth, Christ as Savior, and Easter, the resurrection, and his death. I did believe that. So I just prayed a simple prayer with her, repenting of my sin, acknowledging Jesus Christ for who he is, and I just gave my heart to him. And the second miracle that happened that night was the depression that led me to take my own life, instantly gone, just gone. I was so happy. That weight and that burden was so lifted. I went inside, visited for a little while, went home, put Shannon to bed, and who came home but my crabby husband, Mike. And he's just being ugly, and I'm sitting at the dining room table. He's trying to bait me into an argument, and it was the first time I didn't jump into the arena. And so he somehow said to me, hey Kathy, so tomorrow at 9:30 we go to the lawyer, 10 o'clock the judge, he'll be over in 5 minutes. Well, I hadn't thought about the divorce since I've been at Jackie's, and I just looked up at him and said, Mike, I'm not going to get this divorce. If you want it, you're going to have to do it yourself. And with that, he blew up big, boom, just screaming at me, and I just sat there. peace that surpassed my understanding. He walks out the door, slams the door, the picture falls off the wall and onto our couch, and I turned the light on and went down the hall and went right to sleep. So he gets home at 5 in the morning. He's home for a couple of hours. He gets up. I was off that day because I would have off in the middle of the week. And off he decides he's going to go to his mother's house. He's going to tell her how bad I am. He didn't know I beat him to the punch. So he tells her, what's this divorce, but I'm not going to do it, and yada yada. She just gets this Bible. She bought all the kids, or 5 of them. None of them took it. She goes in, she goes, I bought all of you guys a Bible when I gave my heart to Christ 7 years ago. None of you would take it. Mike, you need to read this Bible. She gives him the Bible, and she said, I know you've got a lot of issues, and a lot of problems, but every answer to your problems is in this book. You need to read it. So, Mike's 2 thoughts simultaneously. Oh no, 15 pictures of Jesus Christ in our very small apartment. That was the first thought. His second thought was, I might be stuck with her. True story. If you ought to hear his testimony. Pretty amazing. So when he takes his Bible, he starts reading it. Now Mike's testimony is really, 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 really funny. But this is true, very, very true. I know it's funny, but it's true. Where do you read the Bible when you're a police officer? Well, in a church parking lot. And so, what was church parking lot? He wasn't sure which one was true. So, Monday night, Catholic church. Tuesday night, Assembly of God church. Wednesday night. I'm not kidding. Southern Baptist, he covered them all. So he's reading the Bible, and so finally he seeks out this police officer, friend of his, Terry May, who was a Christian, and he meets with Terry, squad to squad. And it is true, they do other things other than eat donuts. So if you think they're just wasting time, they may be witnessing to each other when they're side by side. So that's what they would do, side by side, and Terry's like sharing Christ with Mike. And so Mike tells Terry, I've been reading the Bible. And he said, Terry, I think I need to become Jewish. Terry's like, what's kind of Matthew? Goes into the New Testament. Mike starts reading the New Testament. So God does have such a sense of humor because he actually happened to be at 25th and Railroad in an abandoned parking lot when they actually got to John 3:16. Mike read it this way, for God so loved Mike Sparks. And if he gave his only begotten Son, and if Mike would just believe in him, he would not perish. Have everlasting life. And it was at that moment that Mike closed the Bible in the squad car, repented of his sin, and gave his heart to the Lord. So the next day, now he had not talked to me for 3 solid weeks, not one single word to me. Not I hate you, you're ugly, nothing. But every single time I saw him, he was reading his Bible. But I didn't care. I could have lived like that for the rest of my life. I was in that happy place, that real supernatural moment of happiness. So he comes to me the next day. He says, Kathy, I need to talk to you. He had his Bible in his hand. And these were the first words spoken to me in 3 weeks. And I said, what? And he said, last night, I gave my life to the Lord in the squad car. And I just started crying. I didn't even know why. I just started crying. He said, I've been talking to Terry May and just about the things I've been reading. He said, the Bible says we're new creatures in Christ. He said, I don't love you. And I know you don't love me. He said, but I believe that God can give us a love for one another. And he said, and as new creatures, I think I need to ask you out on a date. Okay. So we got a babysitter with money we did not have. We chose a restaurant in St. Louis called Telane's. Anybody ever been to Telane's? This is true. We went to Telane's because it's beautiful. It's an Italian restaurant filled with stained glass windows because we thought it would be a religious experience. That's true. We chose it on purpose. Let's go to Telane's. So we sat there at Telane's, splitting an order of lasagna, cheese, garlic bread, because we didn't have enough money to have each of us have a dinner. True story. And we're talking. He's sharing all these things he's been reading in the Bible. So he keeps reading the Bible. How many people here understand God's grace? Unearned, unmerited favor, because for 3 more months, I'm working at the abortion clinic. He's reading his Bible, and I'm not seeing what I'm doing yet until Mike comes to me at the end of October and says, Kathy, he said, I've read straight through the entire Bible. And he said, I got to the book of Revelation, and the Bible says we're lukewarm. God would just as soon spit us out of his mouth. We need to either get in this Christian walk or get out. Because we weren't going to church yet. Yes, Terry invited us to church, okay, but I wasn't sure I could do his particular church, and so we didn't go. And so I was like, oh man, that's rough. He goes, yeah, because we got to get in this thing. We decided for the first time to pray together. Very simple, new believer prayer of commitment. But our heart was radically committed at that moment. We went to, we had prayed outside of our little apartment, went back into the apartment. We did the apartment cleaning thing. Everything that didn't glorify God, we took to the dumpster. Everything. I mean, everything. All my rock music, rock albums, really big CDs, and then turntable, music, back in the day. We broke them all up because we were afraid if we just threw them, hundreds of them, that if we threw them in the dumpster, someone would dig them out and they broke them all up. And we were just flying. We were so excited. Next day, I went into the abortion clinic. Two things I noticed simultaneously. The first thing, horrible odor throughout the entire building. Nobody could smell it but me. And at one point, I worked at St. John's Mercy Hospital in St. Louis in the burn unit. If you've ever visited anybody who's been in burn, like burn flesh, there is a very distinct odor. It's bad. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, it's worse than St. John's Mercy burning, and nobody could smell it. The second thing was it was freezing cold. I mean a real deep cold. Nobody else was cold. So it was a little on. Well, one of the first patients, my patients, that day, I went and got her, and I was bringing her into, now remember, 5 to 8 minutes, bringing her into the procedure room. I noticed she was an average built woman, but she had a belly. So I put her on the table, I did her blood pressure, vital signs, her temp, I charted it, opened up the tray, beta iron, cotton. The doctor walked in, and he did something that was very unusual. He did a pelvic exam. Typically, they didn't do pelvic exams. They would just come in and do the procedure. So he has a sterile field, which is, the drape over her. He's sitting on the stool, he mouths up to me, very big. So he calls for the registered nurse. Now typically, these girls were 14, 15, 16 weeks. They would get one injection of this relaxing drug, I think it's called Sublamaze, and it would just help them relax. They never put them to sleep because you have to be the anesthesiologist to monitor their vital signs, so, it would just kind of help them relax a little bit. Okay, so this woman ended up getting 3 injections of this relaxing drug. An abortion that would normally take 5 to 8 minutes took 55 minutes to complete. They were able to sever one arm, one leg off this perfectly formed baby boy who was 23 weeks along. And when the procedure was finished, I took the tray into the cleanup room